catching up. When Tommy continued to struggle with... Okay, what do we have going on this time? There's a note over there. There's something on the coffee table. Just... Mr. and Mrs. Kaplan, I want to stress that it's perfectly normal for some children to fall behind in a specific area. Tommy may be struggling with his reading comprehension, but his verbal and visual abilities are excellent. That said, he won't catch up on his own. He will need support from both of you. I recommend that you do the attached exercises with Tommy every weekday morning for 1 or 2 hours. He'll be unable to focus exclusively on these for 2 straight hours, so you'll need to take intermittent breaks, but use your judgment and stay with it as long as you feel he can stay engaged. I suggest that you do your sessions in the morning before he tires himself out and becomes distracted. I feel confident that with a supportive environment and dedicated exercise, he will catch up to the other children in his class. Please be in touch if you have any questions. Dr. Donald Samuels. Okay, so Tommy's got sort of learning issues.
Barb, sorry it's been so long since I've written. Things have been hectic around here, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get things back on track. I don't really want to get into it, but we're getting pulled in a lot of different directions right now. Nothing hurtful, just competing priorities, I guess. Although those can get worse and worse over time. I mean, Dan and I, before we got up here, you know we'd started to drift. Look at that. I said I didn't want to get into it, and I did anyway. Enough about me. Please tell me you're doing well, and I hope this doesn't stress you out too much. I promise to write a happier letter soon. Yours always, Linda.
How exactly is the relationship going at this point? Kind of wondering about that. No messages on the window, nothing on the fridge, nothing on the counter either. That light is off. Isn't that fantastic? There's no way for me to jump over that light being off. I never realized what a bottleneck that is. Son of a freaking bee.
It'll be fun.
Oh boy. Getting around that light being off is gonna be a significant problem. Oh wee. Okay, so both of these lights are off. Things are getting more difficult on a regular... That light is off, that light... That's on. That's on. Is there anything at Tommy's room? Seems to be pretty damn upset with his father. What's this? He's got bully problems at school. I'm gonna be focusing on the book from here on out. I mean, not necessarily the book only, but...
Alan, this letter might come from out of the blue, but do you remember when you told me about Bobby falling behind on reading? Looks like we're there with Tommy. We knew he was struggling when we came up here, but his teacher gave us a list of books for him to work on over the break and said we should see how he responded to the change in environment. She gave us a few sample readings and told us to keep an eye on how he was grasping the concepts. Tommy still isn't there, and long story short, the pediatrician in town knows a specialist who gave us some exercises to try. They seem pretty straightforward, but I wanted to write and see if you had any tips that helped you guys with Bobby. Damn. Just realized I didn't even ask how you've been. I'm sorry. This stuff is just a lot to think about. Dan.
Okay, and over here. Perfect schedule, aka the single unattached writer's guide. 10 to 2, write. 2 to 3, eat and step away. 3 to 7, write. 7 to 8, eat. 8 to 10, decompress and edit, and life. Wrenches. Tommy till 11, knock off at 7, so... Ooh boy. Well, that's the situation with, Okay, good, the lamp in the bedroom is still... Let's check this out.
Time. This would all be easier if I didn't ever have to sleep. Last night after Linda went to bed, I spent some time, there's that word again, trying to make everything fit. I even drew up a little chart. The math is simple. It doesn't work. Technically, I could still get in 8 hours, assuming I don't eat or need to do anything that's not writing. But what about letters, reading, dealing with Paul? Hell, what about doing the dishes or taking out the trash? Not to mention that knocking off for the day isn't like flipping off a switch. It takes time to crawl out of my head and start functioning like a normal person again. And I can't just split it up into smaller chunks. Sometimes it takes an hour of false starts just to get going on anything usable, and stopping just sends the whole process right back to square one. Something's got to give.
It's a distinct problem. Lonnie learns letters age 4 to 6. 12 chapters of reading comprehension exercises. Okay, search the house for him. Search his memories. Linda's got one more clue lying around. That's right, I haven't checked the studio. Aha, I'm in. Okay, there's her journal. I don't know how long this is going to take. Sounds like the sun is coming in here to just kind of hang out. Which, in all honesty, is the last thing I need. Linda, get out of the way. There's a note on the wall, too. What are you doing there? You gonna get up? You gonna leave? Yeah, that's what I thought. This is my place, not yours.
Dan and I had a good conversation today. Well, we'll have to wait and see if it was actually good, but I feel like I got my point across about family time. We've been getting a little frayed on the little things lately, and it reminded me of something Anne said one time. Love is a behavior, not an emotion. If something's important to you, you show it with your actions. We weren't doing so well with that before we got here. I told Dan my idea. I want us all to eat together at 7 every night, with family time after that. Tommy's wiped out by 8:30, so we'd get a solid hour and a half as a family, and then Dan and I could have the rest of the night to ourselves. And I think 7's a reasonable request. The rest of the working world knocks off at 5, right? It doesn't really matter what we do with the time, just that we spend it together. It's easy to make excuses when you've got a lot going on, which is why patterns help. I hope he feels the same way.
Oh boy. Everything I know about life coming to the exact same head that I realize that it is. Ideas, weekly outing, where? Tuesday movie night, check channel guide or maybe going to town, family dinner, too old-fashioned, picnic, farmer's market. Okay, well, I've got all of the information that I need. Now it's time to... Okay. Dangerous as can be. Okay, Dan, that's right. That's right. Your memories are mine. What do we have going on here? Doesn't seem to be any journal writing going on upstairs this time. Something in the... Here we go.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have snapped. I just...
Whoa.
He is stressed. Wow. I think I just said that with an accent. What type of an accent? I don't know. Dan, my boy. What's the problem?
Did it. Got it to Paul on Monday and just about dropped on the spot. Barely slept Sunday night, but damn it, I got it in. Abject terror is a pretty strong motivator. Linda understood, I guess. She had her own deadline, so at least she could identify, but in the end it was still a choice, and she didn't let me off the hook. Can't blame her, really. Sometimes you just have to make tough calls. That's why they're called tough calls.
Indeed. But you still got the, you still met the deadline, you still got the work done. So, let's check the next memory. Where? Where you going there, Dan? Downstairs, eh? There goes Tom. Ooh, Tommy's going into his room. Or at least I figure he's going into his room. Perfect opportunity. Come on, you little squid. It's a I ain't going to the right place. You? What have we got going on here?
Honey, listen to me. You are smart.
Will it make me smarter?
Teasing at school from not doing his lessons. Well, not doing well on his lessons. And he's not happy with his father again. The son's gonna get the compromise this time, but once... Well, I don't know. Maybe the son should get... Son's gonna get priority, the book is gonna get the compromise. Okay, back to the lamp. Over to the chandelier. If this chandelier is ever shut off, I'm gonna be seriously freaking pissed off. Come on. Let me down. And, of course, she moves. Okay, well, know when to take your moments. Linda?
We barely talked yesterday.
Well, you're right. I guess we've just been so busy.
And... is it upstairs here? Is it in the bedroom? Sure enough.
We just got back from the show, and I still don't know how I feel about it. The turnout was okay, and I did sell a piece. I learned a long time ago to never complain about selling anything, no matter how small, so that's good no matter what. But part of me also feels like the glass was half empty. The promo was okay, but I think the abstract layout was a little too weird for the paper. I really should have gone with more text. Then again, it was good of Dan to have helped with that part at all, so who knows how bad it would have been without that. I guess I was most excited to see what kind of feelings the show would bring back up, and it was just too half-hearted to know. Disappointment and excitement in equal parts. I still have some thinking to do.
Struggles.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, good.
Okay. Family should have... table. Don't disturb me if the door to my office is closed. And the sun. The Lonnie book every morning. Okay, the book is getting the priority. Shit, I think he just walked into the room. And just saved. Just saved. Hell yeah. Okay, skip forward to the night. Let's see what's going on with the history. I'm kind of curious about this character who's been hanging around in the past. The Diary of Williams, May 8th, 1952. Looks like it's someone else. Jay is gone, and I am alone. That is the sum of it. No other thought enters my mind. Wed, 38 years, now alone. A senseless accident has taken Jay from me. What I should do with myself, I do not know. Money is no worry. Time, that's the thing. There's so much of it still ahead of me. I've been blessed with health, but the blessing is now a curse. It's nothing more than a curse of time alone, without Jay. I attempt to look ahead, but cannot envision a path without Jay. For so long, I had no need to imagine one. The children don't understand why I've come to this house alone, as they can't understand my loss. Okay. Someone else, and their writing is really awkward to read. The Diary of K. Williams, May 12th, 1952. I cannot say that I feel better than I did upon arriving, for Jay is still gone, but I do feel a change. Some glimmer of a path is taking form in my mind. I cannot describe it other than a narrowing of thought. Perhaps time alone is to be thanked, or perhaps it is something else. Something unknown. Today I drove to McCleaton's to buy coffee, wine, and vegetables, although I wasn't due to run short of those for a few days more. I confess I went to hear human voices, to be around the living. I conversed with a pleasant couple, and it did me no small measure of good. My first words came out as a croak, and I realized I hadn't spoken in days. Small reminder to my solitary days here, alone with my thoughts, thinking of Jay, staring at the sea just over the cliff. Though I must confess that my gaze always drifts from the sea to the edge of the cliff. Okay, so there's someone who's in a pretty sorry state of affairs, came to this house a while back in the 50s, so I wonder how his game panned out. Don't get to find out... I don't get to find out what happened to Claire, I believe her name was, in the journals before, but... let's see, what was it? Door to my office. Door to my office. Select the door to the office. Door to the office. You to choose? Okay. Son gets full attention. Dan's work gets the compromise. So, let's go with this. Dan didn't want Tommy to start another school year behind, so he committed to helping his little man for 2 hours every morning. Having both his parents there helped Tommy's confidence as much as his reading, and their morning practices became an event they all looked forward to. Dan reached a compromise with his family. He would make room in his schedule during the day, but when his office doors were closed, he wouldn't be disturbed. He desperately wanted longer, uninterrupted writing blocks, but made the best of the shorter sessions he was able to fit in. Linda and Tommy got used to eating dinner without Dan, and most nights he stopped work just long enough to kiss Tommy goodnight before heating up his dinner in the oven. Dan and Linda still found time to catch up a few nights a week, but most of the time they were ships passing in the night, each on their own course. Feeling bad for the wife now. As July came to an end, the Kaplans' lives had developed a pattern. Dan's fingers could barely keep up as he typed the last chapter of his first draft. He'd always thought the phrase, "the words are coming through me," was a cliche for hacks, but he didn't think that now. The book wasn't done yet. It still needed work and polish, but he knew if he focused, he could make it something that truly mattered. And on the following Tuesday, Tommy put on an art show in the den, explaining his drawings to his parents one by one. Dan made sure to ask questions and engage his son, who was more than happy to elaborate on his artistic intent. Dan and Linda clapped for each drawing, and by the end of the show, Tommy was beaming. Dan and Linda spent the weekend at a bed and breakfast. They relaxed, went hiking, and had a quiet dinner in the corner of a small restaurant down the street. Afterwards, they walked home hand in hand like they were 21 again, content and in love. Well, I'd say that things are working out fairly well. They still had a month left, but Dan's chances to change the course of the summer were growing fewer.